This is part 4 of the Energy Reset series. I'm talking about grounding, the different strategies you can use for grounding, what grounding really is. So, if you haven't watched the first 3 videos, I suggest that you go back and get caught up. Today, I want to talk about effort versus relaxing and which one is better when you're grounding. The quick answer to that is that neither is better. It depends on what you're feeling and what you're needing. Sometimes you need to put some effort and sometimes you need to release. So, I'm going to be talking about relaxing today and what that looks like versus efforting. I'll talk about efforting next time because relaxing is a very powerful practice, or when you just relax into releasing. So, what does that mean? So, just to recap the strategies that we have talked about before, you want to, of course, make sure that you're in a place where you feel safe. Now, you can do this standing or you can do this sitting. You can do this with your eyes open. You can do this with your eyes closed. Remember that what we're doing is we are moving our awareness into the body. There is a misconception that you have to do this with your eyes closed, and you don't. A lot of times, when you're learning, a lot of teachers teach this strategy with your eyes closed because then you have less distractions because you are not seeing what's in front of you. However, you can do that with your eyes open because if you are able to move your awareness into yourself and noticing what's happening inside your body, you can do that with your eyes open. Okay, so you're going to bring your awareness back into yourself. One way to do that is to breathe. So take a breath and breathe in through your nose if you can, if you're able to. And it doesn't matter if it's through both nostrils or if you have one that's perpetually blocked because of sinus issues. Just try as much as possible to breathe through your nose and just notice the air as it's coming in through your nose. And then as it's filling your lungs, feeling your lungs expand, you feel your shoulders moving, feel your belly expanding. So all of that means moving your awareness into your breath. And then, of course, the breath out, you can have the awareness of your shoulders relaxing, your tummy contracting as you breathe out, and then feeling the air moving out of your nose. Depending on whether you have a good connection with your body, you will feel some of those sensations as you are breathing, and you're not necessarily going to need to really pay attention. When you move your awareness back in, you'll start just noticing those things. And the more you do this, then the more that you'll notice that awareness in your body. Once you bring your awareness into your body, the second step is to notice what's happening in your body. So, where you're feeling sensations, where you're feeling emotions. And the way that I like to talk about this is where you feel energy. You may feel tension, maybe at the top of your head, or you may feel tightness at the back of your neck, the top of your shoulders. You may start feeling the shortness of breath, and so a stuckness at the top of your chest. Or you may feel a constriction at your heart center or at your belly, or you may start feeling your lower back or discomfort somewhere in your back. So you just notice what you notice. So there's no right way, there's no wrong way of doing this. Just notice what you notice. So when you bring your awareness into your body, whatever is most active is what you will notice. So if you notice the shoulders, or if you notice the back, or if you notice the tummy, that's what's most active. Once you notice something, then what you're going to do is you're going to put some awareness there for just a second. If I'm noticing, let's say, a tightness in my chest, then I'm just going to put that awareness in the tightness in my chest. And then I'm going to put some I can put some dimension to it. I can notice how wide does it go? How strong is it? Can I put some color in it? What do I notice? And then I want to start moving it down into the earth. You can even give it some dimension, like you could give it some boundaries and see how big it is. And then so if it's really tight, you want to move that into the earth. If it's really wide, then you still want to move that into the earth. So you just follow it down your body and you move that into the earth. Now, what happens sometimes is when you are doing this practice, and this is part of it is what we call grounding, you're going to feel yourself connected to the earth. If you're seated, you can feel the weight of your body in the chair. You can feel the gravity pulling at your shoulders and at your back. If you're standing, you can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel how your weight is distributed at your feet. And as you're moving this energy down your body, then you're going to feel the sensation of being heavy, of like gravity's pulling you down. And so that's one way to know that you are achieving this groundedness. But just feeling connected to the earth and feeling gravity pulling on us at our body isn't really what we're after, right? What we're after is release of this anxiety. What we're after is peace and regaining this sense of having control of our lives and being being calm and being able to make decisions, having this clarity, having this sense of expansiveness. That's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that we're moving that, whatever sensation it is that you're feeling, moving that into the earth. So that's a little recap. Now, sometimes what we need to do is we need to relax. There is a practice called focusing. And so when you focus, what you're doing is you're bringing awareness to whatever it is comes up and you just notice what happens. It's like when you see a child that is playing and then they fall and they scrape their knee. And so you want to be compassionate, right? That's the best reaction, not react and to not be afraid, but just listen or just pay attention to them, giving them attention. And then just being compassionate, knowing that it probably hurt, but they're going to be okay as soon as they get up. And so having that awareness of paying attention, noticing what's coming up in our body, and then just being with it and not needing it to do anything. All you're going to do is you're just going to be aware of it. Now, don't go into the emotion. If you're feeling, and don't try to analyze it. Don't try to figure out why it's there or what it's trying to tell you or anything like that. Focusing involves just being with the emotion. One thing to know about focusing is that you probably need 60 to 90 seconds. Most emotions get processed with that time. If you can commit to just 90 seconds of being aware of that sensation in your body and just awareness, just give it some visibility. Like that child that has scraped their knee, you just want to be there, that compassionate ear while they get back up. And so you just notice and just let it move, let it do whatever it needs to do. Just notice it. Again, don't go into the emotion, don't go into the tightness, don't go into the sensation. You just want to notice it. And then if you can be with it and just be with it, you'll start noticing that it starts to soften, that it starts to move. You'll notice that sometimes it becomes warm and then you feel this release. When you relax into it, and this is what I mean by relaxing into it, that all you're doing is noticing, you're not trying to do anything with it. And so as you're noticing and as you're focusing on that particular sensation, one of the things that will happen is that you'll start just noticing that it's moving. You'll start noticing that it's softening, it's becoming more loose. Sometimes it's like you feel like a warm rush, like this warm water, like is showering you. So those are all different ways of releasing. Sometimes you'll even have physical releases, like you'll burp or you'll start yawning or you'll start tearing, or sometimes you'll feel your intestines grumbling. And all of that is just this tension that was being held at the body is starting to flow. It's starting to get released. And so that's what we're looking for. So I want you for today's practice to add that 30, 60, 90 seconds of just being with whatever the sensation is that is coming up. So before you start moving it down, just be with it. And then sometimes you don't even have to start moving it down. Like it'll start releasing into the earth on its own without us necessarily needing to make much effort to release it. Next time, I'll be talking about efforting. So if it's not moving, if we give it the 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, and it's not moving, then what do we do? What's the actual technique to move that energy? Now, keep in mind that if it's becoming really big, if you feel like you're focusing 30 seconds and it's overwhelming, then you do want to start moving it down. The key to focusing is not going into the emotion, but noticing the sensation, noticing whatever it is that is coming up, like you're noticing yourself, like you have this outside perspective of what is happening. And you don't go into the emotion. If you feel like you're going into it, like it's drawing you in and it's starting to get bigger and it's going to be overwhelming, then stop the focusing. And sometimes we just need a little bit of practice and to develop that skill of maintaining that separation, maintaining that distance so that we can stay in awareness versus moving into the emotion. We're back in whatever that sensation is. And that's not really helpful for this practice. That's not necessarily what we want to do. So we want to stay as an observer. We want to stay in a state of awareness. So practice that for the next several practices. And then next time I'll be talking about if it's not moving, then what do we do? Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time.